Welcome to day 34 of my 6th annual SLAP challenge. SLAP, S-L-A-P, stands for squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We are doing 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day every single day except Sundays for 40 days. And this is day 34 already, but that does not mean that it is too late to join the challenge. It is never too late to join the challenge. You don't have to join the challenge. If you just want to do this workout with me today, that's great. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video. So if you would prefer to just skip straight ahead to the workout, you can go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to know a little bit about what the challenge is and how it works, I will start by telling you that there is a playlist for this challenge that contains all of the workouts in chronological order. I will link the playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and I will link it at the very end of this video as well, just to make sure that you can't miss it. So save the playlist. Even if you're on the fence and you don't know whether or not you want to do the challenge, save the playlist so that when and if you decide that you want to do the challenge, you have all of the workouts readily available to you. But definitely save the playlist and then begin by watching that day one video. The day one video is going to contain our day one workout for the challenge, but it's also going to contain all of the information that you need to know about what the challenge is, exactly why we're doing it, who's Brutus, why are we slapping him with squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups, where do I begin, how can I participate? All of that information is in the video that I shared on day one of the challenge. Also in that video, I went over in great detail how to do squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups with the correct form, and I also provided tons of beginner modifications that I absolutely promise you can do. So if you are an absolute beginner, you're in the right place. You can absolutely do this challenge with me. Even if you think you can't do a single squat or a single push-up, yes, you can. Watch that day one video. Give me a chance to convince you that you can do these exercises and you can do this challenge. I am making a concerted effort to gear the challenge towards beginners this year. I want to make sure that every single workout is accessible to ultra, super duper day one beginners. Now, if you are not a beginner, then the workouts we're doing this year for the challenge probably are not going to challenge you very much. So if you would prefer to follow along with last year's playlist, I will link the playlist that I made last year up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and I will link it at the very end of the video as well. Last year was my 5th year in a row doing the challenge. It was the exact same challenge. We were doing at least 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day every single day except Sundays for 40 days. But the workouts we were doing last year were much more difficult. They were a lot more intense. They were longer because we were frequently doing more than just those 160 reps. They were more advanced. We were doing more challenging versions of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. And we were adding weight to most of the workouts, and I was also incorporating about 20 minutes or so of moderate paced cardio right into most of the workouts as well. So if you are more advanced and you're in great shape, definitely save last year's playlist, but save this year's playlist as well, because even if you're really strong and you're in great shape and you're capable of doing the more difficult workouts that we did last year, the workouts we're doing this year are still a great option to have. If you're in really good shape, you are going to be able to complete almost all of the workouts that we're doing this year for the challenge in under 10 minutes. So they're perfect for days where you have absolutely no time. You can get your reps done in 10 minutes and then you're done. You've met your requirement for the challenge for that day, okay? We're also really focusing on bodyweight exercises this year because I'm gearing the challenge towards beginners. So I've been assuming that beginners don't necessarily have access to fitness equipment. So if you don't have access to fitness equipment because you're traveling and you're staying at a hotel or an Airbnb, or maybe you just want to take your workout to the park today or the beach or the hiking trail and you don't want to be lugging along dumbbells or a kettlebell or a big sandbag or something like that, then one of these short little body weight workouts is perfect. And it can also make a great warm-up. If you are going for a long run today or a hike, you can still get your reps done, 10 minutes. These workouts will make a perfect little warm-up before you begin your hike or your run or your bike ride. So definitely save both playlists. And you can just kind of bounce back and forth between the two playlists as you see fit. You can also bounce around within one playlist or the other. I am presenting the challenge with the workouts labeled, days 1 through 40, and that's how I'm doing the challenge. And you're welcome to do the challenge that way if you want. Start with day 1 and do, each new day as I do it. But if you are doing it, it's your challenge, so you do it in whatever way works for you. As long as you're getting your 160 reps done every day, it doesn't matter which workout you do. It doesn't even matter if you do a structured workout at all. If you don't have time to do a workout, or it's just too difficult for you to do all of your reps at once, spread out your reps randomly throughout the day. You can get up in the morning and do 10 squats, 10 lunges, 10 reps of any ab exercise you want, and 10 push-ups. And then you can just repeat that 3 more times throughout the day. It can be any variations of those 4 exercises you want. You can do it again after lunch, you can do it again after you get home from work, and then once more before bed. There's your 160 reps. If you are a beginner and it seems like too much to do 160 reps every day, then you can commit to doing fewer reps. I have a few people who are doing the challenge with me, but they're just doing fewer reps of everything every day. So instead of 40 squats every day, they're doing 20 squats. Or 15 squats, okay? 15 lunges, 15 reps of abs, 15 push-ups. Again, if you're the one doing it, then it's your challenge, so you do it in whatever way works for you. If you cannot commit to doing all 160 reps every single day, then commit to doing what you can. Maybe you can't commit to 160 reps every day, maybe you can commit to 80 reps every day, or 40 reps every day. Maybe you can't commit to doing all 40 days of the challenge, but can you commit to doing 20 days of the challenge? If you can't commit to working out with me 6 days a week, maybe you can commit to working out 3 days a week. Maybe you could commit to doing every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with me. All right, so just watch that day 1 video. Remember, I'm right here to answer questions, so ask questions if you have them. And then when you decide you want to participate in the challenge, just be honest with yourself about what you can realistically commit to. Don't commit to more than what you can do, because that's a recipe for failure. So be realistic. Can you commit to doing 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week? Can you commit to doing 20 reps of everything every day, or 30? Okay, so decide to what degree you are capable of participating, and then commit to participate to that degree. Okay, as long as your goals are realistic, it's going to be much easier to follow through with them. And then just remember that I am right here. I'm not only doing the challenge right along with you, I'm not just here working out with you every single day, but I am also here to answer questions and provide guidance. I am here to help motivate you and support you and encourage you along the way. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or if you need help. But let me just tell you that one final thing, and then we'll get into the tutorial today, because I'm actually really pressed for time today. I'm trying to get through this as quickly as possible, so hopefully I'm not missing anything. But there's one more really important thing I want to tell you if you do want to join the challenge. First of all, it's never too late to join. If you can do even just 1 day of the challenge, that's better than nothing, okay? So if you can only commit to doing 10 reps of everything every day, if you can only commit to doing 10 days of the challenge or 1 day of the challenge, it's always better to do something than nothing. So if you just want to do this workout with me today, great. If you just want to do the day 1 workout, great. If you want to participate in the challenge, you can jump in today and just do the final 7 days of the challenge with me. Why not, okay? I'd rather have you do the final 7 days of the challenge than no days of the challenge. But here's the important part. If you do decide that you want to go back to the beginning and start on day 1 of the challenge, that is recommended. That's how I designed the challenge. I designed it to be a 40-day challenge. So if you want to start on day 1, that's great. Just make sure that you start with that day 1 workout on a Wednesday. That's it. That's the whole thing. As long as you start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday, all you have to do is just follow along with the playlist and everything will fall into place. I have made it super easy to follow along. All right, so that's how the challenge works in a nutshell. Questions? I'm right here. Let's go ahead and get into what we're doing for today's workout. This is going to be an abbreviated tutorial. I say that, but it'll probably be an hour and a half long because I'm me, but I'm going to get through this as quickly as I can, so wish me luck. So we're starting today actually with push-ups, but I'm going to start with squats. I'm going to go in order for the tutorial and then I'll explain the format because we're breaking up our push-ups again today. So let me go over squats first. We're doing basically sumo squats, but I'm going to increase the difficulty a little bit by doing a calf raise on just one leg. So for a sumo squat, you're going to start with your feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart and your toes pointed out slightly at about a 45-degree angle. Okay, so not facing straight forward, also not facing all the way to the side, but split the difference. So your feet are pointing out at about a 45-degree angle. And then from here, you're going to squat with your feet in this position. So remember, first thing for your squats, tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets, okay? So take your shoulder blades and try to tuck them into your back pockets, meaning that your shoulders are back and down. You're gonna be pinching your shoulder blades together behind you, and make sure your shoulders are away from your ears. So not up here, down here, back here. That's also going to help you keep your chest lifted nice and high. Pay attention to that sensation because you want to maintain this sensation of your chest being lifted the entire time. All right, so your shoulders are back and down. Your chest is lifted nice and high. The next thing I want you to think about is tightening up your abs really, really tight. Like someone is about to come along and punch you in the stomach as hard as they can, and you're bracing for that impact. And then, before you squat, the final thing I want you to think about is not just squatting straight down, because if you think about your squat as just going straight down, what's going to tend to happen is that your knees are going to end up over your toes, and that's really not the movement. It's also a really good way to injure your knees. So instead, what I want you to think about is hinging at the hips. And to do that, I like to tell you to try to imagine that you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, okay? Because when I do that, I go from this to this. So now do you see how my knees are no longer over my toes? All of my weight is in my heels. I can actually pick up my toes. That's what we want. So you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, and at the same time, remember, you're keeping your chest lifted nice and high. So it's like you're trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest, really elongating your spine. The point is that you want to have a flat back. So really that's all you need to remember for your squats. Flat back, weight in the heels. Hang on to that because the lunges are pretty much the same thing, okay? Flat back, weight in the heels, always. So tuck the shoulder blades into the back pockets, shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are super strong and tight and engaged. You're gonna hinge at the hips, so push the booty back, trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest, and now from here is where you can sink down into your squat. And then you're going to press the ground away from you to stand, and I mean actively press your heels into the ground, like you're trying to push the ground away from you with your heels. That's going to really activate all of the muscles in your feet, through your legs, your quads, especially your glutes, and of course your abs are already nice and strong and tight and engaged. And that's just a basic air squat. All right, so you can always stick with air squats. Remember, you can do any squat variation you want. That's one of the really beautiful things about this challenge, is that as long as you're getting your reps done every day, it doesn't matter what variations of these exercises you do. So if you want to do this workout with me today, you want to work out along with the video, but you don't like the squat variation I'm doing, just substitute with any other squat variation you want. Same thing with lunges, same thing with abs, same thing with push-ups, okay? As long as you're getting 40 reps of some ab exercise done, it doesn't matter what you do for your ab exercise, okay? So you can just stick with basic air squats if you want. Do your best on your squat to see if you can squat low enough so that your thighs are parallel to the ground. Now, you may not be there yet, that's fine, that's your goal, that's what you're working towards, but make sure you're not rounding your back. Your objective, number one, flat back, weight in the heels, that's most important. Okay, so work to your own level, don't push your body into doing anything it's not ready to do, and don't get your thighs parallel to the ground at the expense of your form. Don't round your back, okay? Make sure you're pushing your booty back, keeping your chest lifted high, keeping your abs tight, keeping your back flat, weight in the heels. As long as your back is flat and your weight is in the heels, it doesn't matter how low you go in your squat, okay? So if you're here, you're here. The most important thing is that you're minding your form. But just keep in mind that what you're working towards, what your goal is to try to get your thighs parallel to the ground. Okay, so do your best, be smart, be safe, listen to your body. Make sure you're working to your own level and do not push your body into doing anything it's not ready to do, but that's the goal you want to have in mind. It's okay if you're not there today. It's okay if you're not there by the end of the challenge. It's okay if you're not there by the end of the summer or next year. That's just what you're working towards. Okay, so that's your form for a basic air squat. What I'm going to be doing is starting with my feet a little wider than shoulder width apart, pointed out slightly, and I am going to be doing a calf raise. But first, let me show you the sumo squat without the calf raise so that you have that option as well. So all you're going to do is from here, shoulders back and down, chest up to high, abs are tight. You're gonna push your booty back, keep your back flat, keep the weight in your heels as you sink into your squat. And then as you stand, you're going to shift your weight into one foot. You're going to pick up the other leg and lift the knee. Kind of like you're trying to lift your thigh all the way up, okay? So you're not really bringing the knee in as much as up. Think about trying to lift your knee straight up, okay? And that's it. That's a basic sumo squat. Alternating sides for the leg lift with each rep. So the idea is that it's kind of like that move that sumo wrestlers do before a match. I'm sure you've seen that, okay? So it's kind of derivative of that. So that's kind of what you want to have in your mind. So squat, and now other side, shift your weight to the opposite leg, lift your knee straight up, trying to lift your thigh straight up to the ceiling, okay? So squat, lift the leg, squat, lift the leg. I'm going to be doing that same thing, but before I squat, I'm going to lift one heel, just one heel. So this foot is going to stay flat on the ground. I'm going to lift the other heel, okay? And then I'm going to do my squat with one heel elevated. Then, whatever heel is elevated, that's the leg that's going to lift. So I'm transferring my weight into this foot that's already flat on the ground, and I'm lifting my leg up towards the ceiling, okay? And then repeat on the other side. So now lift the opposite heel, sink down into your squat, shift your weight into the other foot, lift this leg that has the heel elevated as though you're trying to touch the ceiling with the top of your thigh, and then put the foot down. So calf raise, squat, lift the leg, other side, calf raise, squat, lift the leg. All right, it's super simple, but it's challenging. So if the calf raise is too much for you, eliminate it. If the leg lift is too much for you, eliminate it. And just do sumo squats without the leg lift, okay? So starting with the feet wide apart, toes pointed out slightly at a 45-degree angle, you can just stay here. And if you're not comfortable with your feet wide apart and your toes pointed out, you can bring your feet in a little bit. You can have your feet pointing straight forward and just do air squats. Okay, remember, any squat variation you want to do is fine. And if you need to hold on to something for support, that's fine as well. Just make sure that whatever you're holding onto for support is strong enough to hold your entire body weight, even if you're just lightly like touching it with your fingers to help you balance. In the event that you lose your balance and you really need to rely on the chair or bar stool or whatever you're using for an elevated surface, then you want to make sure that it's strong enough to support your entire body weight, okay? So again, be smart, be safe, use your common sense. So if you need to use an elevated surface for support, like a chair or a bar stool, or the arm of your couch, or your dining room table, or a plyo box, or a park bench, or your kitchen counter, okay? Any number of elevated surfaces will work as long as they are strong enough to support your entire body weight, sturdy enough so that they won't collapse or break or fold up on you when you put weight on them. So for example, you wouldn't want to use a folding chair that could fold up when you put weight on it. All right, whatever you're using for your elevated surface, you want to make sure that it's good quality, it's well made, it's in good condition, and it can't collapse or break or fold up when you put weight on it, okay? And then you just want to make sure that it's stable, meaning that it's going to stay put and it won't slide from underneath you when you put weight on it. So for example, when I'm working out in my living room and I need to use a chair, I have wood floors in my living room, and my dining room chairs are also wood. So it's really easy for that wood chair to slide along the wood floor. So what I do is I place the chair on top of an exercise mat or a yoga mat so that it stays put, so that when I sit on it or lean on it, it will not slide from underneath me, okay? So just remember, strong, sturdy, and stable. Any number of elevated surfaces will work, so if you need to hold on to something for support, that's fine. Just make sure that whatever you're using to support you is strong enough that it can hold your entire body weight, sturdy enough so that it will not collapse or break or fold up when you put weight on it, and stable so that it cannot slide from underneath you. All right, and I'm not going to show you those modifications today. So if you need to see those, please let me know, but I'm sorry, like I said, I'm just really pressed for time today, and I know this tutorial is not going to be short, but I'm doing it as quickly as I can, okay? I know myself. It's still gonna be long, but I'm trying to make it short, so I'm not going to show you the chair modifications today. If you do need to see them, please let me know, okay? But that's my squat variation for today. So now let's move on to lunges. The lunges are gonna be a little bit difficult to explain. I will do my best to keep it simple. I call these 360 lunges. So as the name would imply, we are making a circle, 360 degrees, okay? So the best way I have come up with to explain this exercise is to imagine that you have paint on the bottom of your shoes. And every time you lunge, you're making a dot on the ground. And your dots are going to draw a circle around you, okay? So imagine you're painting a picture of like a connect the dots that makes a circle around you. So what that means is that we are going to be combining a forward lunge, a side lunge, and then it gets a little tricky back here, but a dragon lunge, and then a reverse lunge, okay? So now we've gone from here to here, and now we're going to continue our circle. So we're gonna do a reverse lunge. I'm gonna make a dot right behind me with another reverse lunge. Then I'm gonna make a dot towards this back corner with another dragon lunge. And then I'm gonna make another dot towards this side with a side lunge. And then I'm gonna make my final dot right in front of me with another forward lunge. So that each time I stepped my foot out for a lunge, I made a little dot on the floor, and now there's a little circle of dots going around me, okay? Sounds so complicated. It's not. It gets a little tricky towards the back, but if you just keep in mind the dots, drawing the circle with your dots, I think it makes sense, okay? So I'm going to start with a forward lunge. I'm going to start with this as my standing leg. And for the first two lunges, this foot is going to stay planted. And this is going to be my lunging leg. I'm going to begin with a forward lunge, so I'm going to take one step forward, and then I'm going to bend both knees and sink down into a lunge. So now I have just made a dot with this foot right there, okay? Now I'm going to do the same thing with a side lunge. So this foot stays planted, we're going around this way. So I made a dot here, now I need to make a dot here. So I'm going to step this foot out to the side, sink into my lunge, and then step back. Now, before I do a reverse lunge and make a dot right behind me, I'm gonna make a dot back to this corner. So this is where it gets a little complicated. We're gonna switch which leg as the standing leg, because I'm going to do a curtsy lunge. I always call it a dragon lunge, but everybody else calls it a curtsy lunge. So now this is going to be my standing leg. I'm going to pick up the opposite foot, and I'm going to lunge behind me and diagonally across my body towards this corner. And I'm going to bend both knees and sink into my lunge. Step the foot back. And now I have one more lunge to complete this half of the circle. I need to make a dot right behind me. So again, I'm going to lunge back with this foot. I'm going to step back with this foot and make a dot right behind me. Then step forward. So now I've made 4 dots. Right? I made a dot right here in front of me. I made a dot out to the side. Remember, there's paint on the bottom of my shoes. Now I'm going to make a dot to this back corner. Switching legs. And now switching legs again, I'm going to make a fourth dot right behind me, okay? So now we're gonna repeat that whole thing in reverse on the other side because we're gonna keep traveling around in this direction. So for the first half of my circle, I started here, then went here, then there, then there. For the second half of my circle, I'm gonna start here, and then go there, and then go there, and then go here, okay? So now I'm gonna start with a reverse lunge. Stepping back with this foot, reverse lunge, and now I need to switch legs because I need to make a dot towards this back corner. So now this is going to be my standing leg. I'm going to pick up this foot and lunge behind me and diagonally across my body. Bend both knees and sink into my lunge, then step forward. Now for the final 2 reps, this leg is my standing leg. This is going to be my lunging leg. I need to make a dot to this side. So I'm going to step to the side, sink into my lunge, and step back. And with that paint on the bottom of my shoe, now I left a dot there. Final dot, I'm going to step forward, sink into my lunge, and step back, okay? Let's put it all together. So each time you make the circle, that's 8 lunges, okay? So that means we need to make a total of 5 circles. Each circle is 8 lunges. So 8 lunges times 5 sets is 40 total lunges, okay? So it's going to look like this. Let's put it all together. So step forward. We're starting in this direction. Forward lunge. Now side lunge. Now we have to hit this back corner. So switch legs for your dragon lunge or curtsy lunge. Step forward. Now 2 reverse lunges. Starting on this side, reverse lunge, and now another reverse lunge. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, and now reverse lunge. That's our 5th dot. Now our 6th dot to this back corner. So switching legs for a dragon lunge or curtsy lunge. Dot number 7 to this side, and finally, dot number 8. Make sense? Now, if that is too complicated, switching legs for the dragon lunges or curtsy lunges is what kind of complicates things. Here's why the dragon lunges are in there. Because if they're not in there, sometimes I do 360 lunges like this. I go forward lunge, side lunge, and reverse lunge. Okay, this foot stayed planted the whole time. Now we're just gonna switch. Reverse lunge, side lunge, forward lunge, okay? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Much simpler, right? Because there's no switching legs. For my dots 1, 2, 3, this is my standing leg, this is my lunging leg. 1, 2, 3. And now my circle's already half complete. So all we need to do to complete the circle is repeat that in reverse on the other side. So switch legs, and now make a dot behind you. This leg stays planted for these final 3 lunge, side and front. Okay, so that's much more streamlined, much simpler, and kind of easier to conceptualize, easier to keep track of which foot you're on. The only issue with doing the exercise that way, for the purposes of this workout and for the purposes of this challenge, is that each circle contains only 6 lunges as opposed to 8 lunges. And 40 is not evenly divisible by 6. So that means that by the time you complete 6 sets of lunges, 6 circles, you will have completed a total of 36 total reps of squats. So that means you'll have 4 more squats to go to meet your requirement of completing 40 squats, right? So that would mean that you'd end here. So say you've done 6 circles, you're on 36, you're gonna count 37, 38, 39, and 40. So that presents a problem because if you stop there, that's your 40th lunge, but if you stop there, then you're short a side lunge and a forward lunge on this leg. So obviously you can just finish up your circle and do a side lunge and a forward lunge. Now your legs are even, but you've done a total of 42 reps of lunges, which is weird because everything else is 40 reps. So if none of that bothers you, then you can do the simplified version where you're making 6 dots, you're doing 6 lunges per circle, and you can just do 7 sets, which means you'll end up doing a total of 42 squats. And those numbers are just like, I don't know, they're not round. They don't make my OCD happy, but if it doesn't bother you and you just want to simplify things, you can absolutely do that. It just means you'll end up doing 42 lunges today instead of 40, okay? And if you just want to do 40 lunges, it means you're going to be 1 lunge shy of 1 side lunge and 1 forward lunge shy of being even on both legs. So if none of that bothers you, then just do the simplified version. But if you're like me and you need all of the numbers to be neat and wrapped up in a little package with a pretty little bow, then you're gonna have to do what I'm doing. So we're making that adjustment where we're adding the 2 dragon lunges to each circle, so that each time we make a circle, we will have completed 8 lunges. See, these numbers work better. 8 is better, 5 is better, and 40 is better. So everything's nice and round and wrapped up with a neat little bow that way. So that's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. So my circle is going to contain 8 lunges. I'm gonna do 5 circles. That's my 40 reps of lunges. Okay? So I know, it's a lot. Again, if you have questions, I'm right here to help. So please just ask, and remember that if you don't want to deal with any of this 360 nonsense, just do any other lunge variation you want. You can just do 40 forward lunges. Fine. You can do 40 side lunges, 20 on each side, you know. You can do 40 dragon lunges, or you can do 40 reverse lunges. You can do any lunge variation you want, as long as you complete a total of 40 lunges one way or another. It doesn't matter how you get them done, okay? But I am doing 360 lunges, including dragon lunges. So 8 lunges with each circle, 5 circles. That's my 40 reps of lunges. So just remember with your lunges, your shoulders are back and down, your chest is lifted high, your abs are tight, you're pushing your booty back. You are elongating your spine, keeping your back flat, keeping your weight in your heels, okay? Same as with squats. So when you're in your forward lunge, you wanna make sure, forward lunge or reverse lunge, you're going for a 90-degree angle in this front knee, meaning that your knee of your front leg is more over the heel of your front foot as opposed to being out over the toes like this. Because remember, you always want your weight in the heels. So shoulders back and down, chest lifted high, abs tight, back flat, weight in the heels. Same thing for squats and lunges, all right? So in your forward lunge, you're gonna step forward, bend both knees, make sure the movement is under control. You don't have to tap the ground with this back knee, but if you do, you don't wanna bang the knee into the ground. So be careful that you don't do that. Make sure the movement is under control. In your side lunge, you're gonna step to the side, push the booty back, back is flat, weight is in the heels, and as you sink into your side lunge, your weight is in this heel, okay? Your knee is not out over the toes, it is over the heel of this lunging foot. Stepping into your reverse lunge. Step back, bend both knees, sink down into your squat. 90-degree angle in this front leg. Step forward, okay? So, same bullet points as your squats. Back flat, weight in the heels, okay? And just try to remember that you're going for about a 90-degree angle in that front knee. For your reverse lunges and your forward lunges, okay? But let's move on from lunges. Okay, for my ab exercise, today I'm going to be down on my mat. If you cannot get down on the mat, please remember that we have standing options for abs and push-ups. So if you're someone who absolutely cannot get down onto the mat, that's fine, okay? You can still do abs, you can still do push-ups. So if you need to see standing ab exercises, let me know. There's a couple that we've been going through over and over again, so if you've been following the challenge, you've seen those already. If this is the first video you're watching in this challenge and you need those standing options, start by watching the day one video because I did go over them in that video. And again, I am right here to help. So if you need help with standing options for abs or push-ups, please ask, because I'm not going to go over them today because this is me trying to be fast. So what we're going to do for abs today, we're going to be in a plank position, and we're just going to be doing these little hip dips side to side. So you're going to start down here in an elbow plank. So you're going to place your elbows right underneath your shoulders, and you're going to rest your forearms on the mat like this. Then you're going to extend your feet back behind you so that you're in an elbow plank position. Make sure that you are really keeping those abs tight and keeping your hips lifted high. You don't want your back to arch, and you don't want to allow your hips or your belly to droop towards the mat. Tighten up those ab muscles. Use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high. And then from here, all we're going to do is twist towards one side, drop the hips down towards the mat, and then engage those obliques, lift the hips back up to center, return to your starting position. And we're just gonna alternate sides with each rep. So now you're going to twist towards the other direction, drop your hips down towards the mat, tap the mat if you can, and then engage those obliques, lift your hips up, and keep them high, okay? Return to your starting position. So twist and tap, return to center. Other side, twist, tap the hips, down to the mat, return to center. All right, it's a tough exercise. Your entire core is going to be on fire, so do your best. And if that exercise is not going to work for you, remember that you can substitute with any other ab exercise you want. So any sit-up variation you want, any crunch variation you want. And if being in plank position is too difficult, you could do something like Russian twists. That would be a good substitution for today since we're working our obliques. So you can just twist and tap, okay? Heels elevated makes it more difficult. Beginners, put your heels on the ground or on your mat, twist and tap, okay? So that could be one option if you don't want to do that. Regular sit-ups, crunches, standing abs, any ab exercise you want to do is fine. But that's what I'm doing for abs today, very simple. So you're just in an elbow plank, and you're just going to drop your hips towards one side, come back to center, drop your hips towards the other side, super simple. So let's finish up with push-ups. So bullet points for push-ups. Number one, you want your head in line with your spine. So you're going to be in a plank position, but first I want you to imagine that you are standing with your back up against the wall, and you're just gently pressing the back of your head into the wall, okay? So that your head is perfectly up and down, straight up and down, in line with your spine, okay? So as you're down here in your plank position, that's the positioning that you want for your head, right in line with your spine. So you want to make sure that you're not allowing your head to drop down like this. You do not need to overcorrect by hyperextending your neck and kind of jutting your chin out. You just want your head in line with your spine, and then it stays there. Your head does not move. It's very common that people will allow their head to kind of bob up and down as they're doing the push-ups, but you want your head perfectly in line with your spine, and you want to keep your head perfectly still the entire time. Okay, so that's your first bullet point. Your second bullet point, shoulders away from the ears. So, step one, to get into your push-up, spread out your fingers. Spread out all 10 fingers as wide as you can. Then place your hands on the mat directly underneath your shoulders, and then step your feet back so that you are in a plank position. Your head is in line with your spine, and if you find that you are sinking into your shoulders like this, what you're going to do is actively press the ground away from you so that your shoulders are away from your ears. okay? So spread out the fingers and actively imagine trying to press the ground away from you so that you're up as high as you can get in that plank pose, okay? And your third bullet point, flat back. All right, so what's very common is that people will allow their hips or their belly to droop down towards the mat like this. That is causing an arch in my back. We want to get rid of that. We want a back that is flat, not arched. So you're going to tighten up your abs. Again, it's like someone is going to come along and punch you in the stomach and you're bracing for impact. So tighten up your abs. Use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high, so that your back is nice and flat and your body is in one straight line from your heels to your shoulders. If you are doing knee push-ups, the only difference is that instead of your straight line being from your heels to your shoulders, your straight line is going to be from your knees to your shoulders. All right, but your head is in line with your spine. You're not allowing your head to drop down like this. You're not overcorrecting by hyperextending your neck. Head is in line with the spine. You're not sinking into your elbows. You've got your fingers spread out and you're pressing the ground away from you, pushing yourself up as high as you can so that your shoulders are away from your ears and your back is flat. You are not allowing your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat. You're using your ab muscles to lift your hips high and they're going to stay lifted nice and high. The point is that once you have found this straight line, either from your knees to your shoulders or from your heels to your shoulders, nothing moves, okay? So this is just a moving plank. You have to think of your body as literally being a plank of wood, like a 2x4. So if this is you, this is your body up in your plank pose, all you're going to do is lower this plank of wood down to the ground and then push it back up. But from here to here, so either from your knees to your shoulders or from your toes to your shoulders, does not move, okay? So your goal is to get your chest all the way down to the mat, but again, your objective is to keep your back flat, keep your abs tight, keep your head still, keep your body in one straight line the entire time. So you may not be able to reach your goal of getting your chest all the way down to the mat without breaking that one straight line, either from your knees to your shoulders or from your heels to your shoulders. So if you cannot get your chest all the way down, that's fine. Your options are, if you're doing push-ups from your toes and you can't get your chest all the way down, your options are either put your knees down and start doing knee push-ups or shorten up your range of motion. So if you can only get your chest this close to the mat without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders, then you're gonna stop here, press the ground away from you, and push yourself back up. Return to your starting position. And that's your push-up. It is absolutely fine to shorten up your range of motion. And same thing if you're on your knees. If you cannot get your chest all the way down to the mat without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, then just get it as close as you can. And as soon as your chest is as close to the mat as you can get it, press the ground away and return to your starting position. So shortening up your range of motion is absolutely fine, but what you're not allowed to do is compensate for the fact that you are unable to get your chest all the way down to the mat by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat, all right? Another really common mistake is that people will, if they can't get their chest all the way down to the mat, they'll try to kind of trick themselves into thinking they're getting all the way down by lowering their forehead down to the mat. But remember that you want your head in line with your spine and you want your head to stay still. So no bobbing your head up and down, okay? It's fine if you can't get all the way down. Shorten up your range of motion, but don't compensate for the fact that you can't get your chest all the way down by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat or by lowering your forehead to the mat, okay? Just shorten up your range of motion. All right, so any push-up variation you want to do is fine. If you can't do knee push-ups, remember that you can make it a little bit easier by elevating your hands. So again, if you have a strong, sturdy chair that you can use, there's a bee harassing me. Oh, wait. You can place your strong, sturdy chair on your mat so that it doesn't slide from underneath you. And you can do the push-ups with your hands elevated on the chair or on the arm of your couch maybe, or an ottoman, or any other kind of elevated surface that's strong, sturdy, and stable enough to be used safely. So that will make the push-ups a bit easier, but it is more taxing for your knees. So if you find that you have enough upper body strength and enough core strength to do the push-ups with your hands elevated, but the reason you can't do it is because it hurts your knees, the solution might be as simple as just doubling up your mat a couple of times, or maybe grabbing a throw pillow or a seat cushion, something like that, so that you can have a little bit of extra protection for your knees. If that's still not going to work, remember that you can do push-ups from a standing position as well. So you can stand and do push-ups with your hands on the chair, as long as it's strong enough to support your body weight, sturdy enough that it won't collapse or break, or fold up when you put weight on it, and stable enough so that it can't slide from underneath you. You could also put your hands on something like the arm of your couch or your kitchen counter. And remember that you can do wall push-ups as well, so that you can put your hands on the wall and do push-ups from completely standing, okay? So if you need to see any of those standing push-up modifications, please just ask. I haven't been going over those in every video, but we have gone over them a few times already, so you may have seen them, you may have missed them. Again, just if you need help, if ever you need any further help with beginner modifications beyond what I'm showing you in the videos, I am right here to help, so please just ask, okay? But you can do push-ups from a standing position, absolutely. You can do push-ups from your knees with your hands elevated, if it's too difficult to have your hands on the floor. And you can do any push-up variation you want. So if you just want to do knee push-ups, great. If you want to try the push-up variation that I'm doing, I'm going to be doing reptile push-ups. It's a difficult push-up variation. We have done these once or twice already in the challenge, so if you've been following every day, you've seen them. If you have not seen them yet, let me just really quickly show you what I call a reptile push-up. A lot of people call these Spider-Man push-ups. But to me, a Spider-Man push-up is a completely different exercise. So I call these reptile push-ups, but you may have seen them before being called something else. All it is that as I do my push-up, I'm going to pick up one foot and tuck the knee to the side towards the elbow on the same side. And then straighten the leg and put the foot back, okay? So I'm doing that side knee tuck as I do my push-up. So it's pretty difficult. I'm going to start up here in my plank position, pick up one foot, and now as I bend my elbows and lower my chest down to the mat, this knee is going to come to the side towards the elbow on the same side. And then as I push myself up, I'm straightening the leg and returning to my starting position. Alternating sides with each rep. So now pick up the other foot, and as I bend my elbows and lower my chest to the mat, I'm bringing this leg, tucking it to the side, towards the elbow on the same side, and then as I push myself up, I'm straightening the leg. Okay, that's it. It's simple, but it's tough. So if you're doing knee push-ups, you could try something like this. You could do your push-up first with your knees on the mat, then come up into a plank position and do the knee tuck separately. Then put your knees down, do your push-up, come up into your plank position, and tuck the opposite knee, okay? Just alternating sides for the knee tuck with each rep. So knee push-up, plank, knee tuck, okay? That's an option, but again, any push-up variation you want to do is fine as long as you're minding your form. So remember, head in line with the spine, shoulders away from the ears, abs tight, hips lifted high, flat back. All right, as long as you're checking off all those boxes, you're good. All right, that's all 5 exercises. Now here's the format. So we're going to be doing all 40 squats in one set, all 40 lunges by making our 5 circles. Okay, so we're gonna get all 40 lunges done at once, and we're gonna do all 40 reps of abs in one set. But the push-ups, It's a difficult push-up variation, so what I like to do when I'm doing a really difficult push-up variation is break them up into sets of 5 or 10. So today we're going to be doing sets of 10. So I'm just going to kind of stagger the push-ups throughout the workout to make it a little bit more manageable rather than doing all 40 push-ups at once. So we're actually going to start with push-ups. We're going to start with a set of 10 push-ups. So I'm doing reptile push-ups. I'm going to do 10 reptile push-ups, and then we'll move on to squats. I'm doing my one heel elevated sumo squat, alternating sides for the calf raise with each rep. And I'm going to do all 40 reps at once, okay? So then my squats will be done. Then before I move on to lunges, I'm going to do another set of 10 reptile push-ups. So now squats are done, push-ups are halfway done. Then we'll move on to lunges. I'm doing 360 lunges, including the dragon lunges. So that means I need to do 5 sets of 360 lunges, and then all 40 of my lunges will be done. Remember, you can simplify the 360 lunges, or you can do any other lunge variation you want. But the point is we're gonna do all 40 lunges before moving on. So as soon as our lunges are complete, we're going to do another set of 10 reptile push-ups. And then finally, all we have to do is our 40 reps of abs. So I'm doing that elbow plank with the side-to-side hip dips, 40 reps, alternating sides with each rep. And then all we have to do is finish up with one final set of 10 reptile push-ups, and then we're done. And then I'm not really gonna be done, because you can be done there if you want, because that's 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups. However, I'm going to do a few extra reps today. I'm going to do 10 extra reps of every exercise, and there's a reason for that I'm not going to get into today, because I am pressed for time today, and I said I was going to make this tutorial short, and it ended up being an hour again, just like they always are. So I don't have time to get into it today. There is a reason that I'm doing these extra reps. I will get into it at some point next week, but this is kind of a tradition that dates back to the very first year of doing the challenge, which was 2020. All right, so you do not have to do the additional reps if you don't want to. It's completely optional, but after I have completed that final set of 10 push-ups, I'm going to then go back and do another 10 squats, another 10 reps of lunges, another 10 reps of abs, and another 10 push-ups, okay? Just cause, all right? So, I mean, not just cause, there is a reason, but I'm not gonna get into it today. So you can do that with me or not. That's totally up to you. But I just wanna give you a heads up that I'm going to be doing those extra reps today. But if anything is unclear with that, please remember that I do always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video. And of course, I'm going to do the entire workout with you. So watch me do it, read the instructions. But of course, as always, if the format is still unclear and you don't understand how everything fits together, especially I know those 360 lunges are kind of a lot to wrap your head around if you're unfamiliar with them. So remember, I'm always here to help, okay? So if you need to restructure the workout or something, if it's not working for you, or if it's just confusing and you need me to clarify, I'm right here, okay? If you have any questions about any of the exercises that we are doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, please just ask. It's really important that you understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury, and just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. And you guys know it's also really important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. I'm always here to help facilitate that, and especially so for this challenge this year. So as always, if you need any further help with beginner modifications beyond what I have already provided, I am right here to help, so please just ask. One more thing that I want to touch on before we begin is that I just want to remind you, especially if you're going to be working out along with the video, to please remember to make sure that you are working to your own level, that you're not pushing your body into doing anything it's not ready to do, and that you're going at your own pace, okay? Do not sacrifice your form for speed. If you're in any kind of decent shape, it is very likely that you will be faster than I am, and that's great, as long as you're not sacrificing your form to get there. If you find that you're just racing through the exercises because you're trying to just go really, really fast just for the sake of going fast. So you can say you got a great score, but your form is getting sloppy. Or if you're racing to keep up with me and your form is getting sloppy, that means you need to slow down, okay? So it's your goal, yeah, you can set a time goal and your goal is to complete the reps as quickly as possible, but remember, it's goals versus objective. It's one thing to have a time goal, but not at the cost of your objective, which is minding your form. As important as it is to understand how to do the exercises with the correct form, it's equally as important that you're applying that knowledge during the workout and actually doing the exercises correctly so you don't get hurt and so that you maximize the benefit of the workout, okay? The exercises are going to be most safest and most effective if done correctly. So it's really important that you're minding your form. If you find your form getting sloppy, you need to slow down. Now, if you fall behind, either because you're just working at a slower pace than I am, or because you find that you need to stop and rest, that's fine. Pause the video, rest for as long as you need, and when you feel that you are ready to come back. I will be here, okay? I'm not going anywhere. Just make sure that you're challenging yourself to keep your rest breaks as short as you can, but also make sure they're as long as you need, okay? So it's a challenge. The workouts are supposed to be difficult. They're supposed to challenge you. So I want you to challenge yourself to keep the rest breaks as short as you can. But again, you need to listen to your body. You need to be making the decision that's best for you. You should only resume the workout when you feel that you have regained enough strength and that you have enough stamina to continue with good form. Okay, so challenge yourself to keep the rest breaks short if you need to pause and take rest breaks, but make sure that your rest breaks are as long as you need and that you're only continuing when you're capable of continuing with good form. You should never be sacrificing your form for speed, okay? So hopefully I have covered everything. Let's go ahead and get into the workout. So what you're going to need to do is grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat. If you don't have a mat, a towel may suffice. If you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything, but you are going to be more comfortable with something soft beneath you if you are doing the ab exercise that I'm doing, or if you're doing knee push-ups. So definitely grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If you need to hold on to something for support, go ahead and grab a chair or a bar stool or some other sort of elevated surface that is strong enough to support your entire body weight, sturdy enough to be used safely so that it will not fold up or collapse or break when you put weight on it, and stable so that it cannot slide from underneath you and it stays put when you put weight on it. Then you can pause the video, go get dressed, meet me right back here. We are going to do a quick 5-minute warm up and then we'll get our reps done together. All right, so as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our 5-minute warm up. So you're going to begin by just allowing your head to fall towards one shoulder, and then you're going to place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Make sure your shoulders are nice and relaxed, and make sure you're not actively pulling your ear to your shoulder. You're just resting your hand on top of your head, letting gravity do all the work of gently stretching the other side of your neck. And now switch sides. So let your head fall towards the other shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed, not up by your ears, but relaxed. Next, we're gonna do some head rolls. So you're going to let go with your hand and begin by letting your chin fall towards your chest and then towards the other shoulder and back. And with each roll, you're going to start increasing your range of motion. Start feeling your head get heavier and heavier. Your arms are nice and loose like a rag doll. You're really letting your whole body weight just fall in front of you. Now, shoulder rolls. So just rolling the shoulders to the back. Exaggerate the movement. Make big, big circles with your shoulders. And then next we're going to do arm circles, but we're going to start small with the arm circles. So you're going to extend your arms out to the sides, and you're going to start by making small circles, but gradually as the interval progresses, you're going to start making your circles a little bigger, until finally you're exploring your full range of motion, making those circles as big as you can. Now you're gonna step your feet out a little wider than shoulder width apart, bend your knees, sweep your hands down in front of you, and then as you straighten your legs, you're reaching up towards the ceiling. And each time you bend those knees, you can start sinking deeper and deeper into that squat, expanding your range of motion. Now keep your feet where they are. We're just gonna lunge side to side, nice and easy. Adding the arms. So with each lunge, you're reaching across your body. It's like you're trying to throw your arm across the room, really loosening up those shoulders. Now you're gonna step the feet in and march. Breathe, start with the knees nice and low, and little by little, as the interval progresses, you're gonna start driving your knees up, higher and higher towards your chest, until you're driving your knees up as high as they can go. Feel a nice little stretch in your glutes, and then a nice light jog. And again, little by little, as the interval progresses, you're gonna start driving your knees up, higher and higher towards your chest, until you're driving them up as high as you can. Booty kicks, so still a nice light jog, but with each step, you're bringing your foot behind you, trying to kick yourself in the booty with your heel. For this next one, you may need to hold on to the wall or a chair for support. If not, you can just have your hands on your hips. Transfer your weight into one leg, pick up the other foot, and just swing the leg. Swing it in front, swing it behind, nice and loose. We're gonna switch sides. So you'll put this foot down, transfer your weight, pick up the opposite foot, and swing the leg in front of you, swing it behind you. Start small, and then gradually increase your range of motion. Now we're gonna switch feet again. So you're gonna put this foot down, you're gonna take the other leg and extend the foot out in front of you, and then just draw a little semicircle. Bringing that leg around and behind you. And with each semicircle, you're gonna start lifting your leg higher and higher, and then finally, you're gonna drive the knee up in front of you, kind of guide it around with your hand. Repeat that on the other side. So extend the leg out in front of you, and start making semicircles. Bringing that leg around and behind, lifting the leg a little higher each time, and then drive the knee up in front of you. Guide it around with your hand. Finally, we're gonna stretch our hamstrings. So you can use the wall or a chair or the arm of your couch to assist you to get into this stretch. You're hinging at the hips, so you wanna keep your back as flat as possible. So using a chair or the wall or some other sort of elevated surface just makes it a little bit more comfortable and a little bit easier to get into this stretch. It's okay if your back is rounded. You're not gonna hurt yourself if you have your back rounded. But if you get into this stretch, keeping your back as flat as possible, you're instantly going to feel that stretch in your hamstrings intensify. You're really isolating the hamstrings a lot more, the flatter you can keep your back in this stretch. And since we're only here for a few seconds, really want to maximize the effectiveness of this stretch. So you want to keep your back as flat as you can. So if you use a chair or the wall to support you, just makes it a little bit easier to find that flat back and a little bit more comfortable to get into that stretch. All right, but that's it. That's our warm up. All right, so now our muscles are nice and warm. Let's go ahead and get these reps done. We are starting with push-ups, a set of 10 push-ups. Any push-up variation you want to do is fine. I am doing reptile push-ups, alternating sides with each rep. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. I am starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So plank position. Bend the knee, tuck the knee towards the elbow on the same side as you sink down into the push-up, and then straighten the leg as you push yourself back up. Alternating sides with each rep, so that's 2. We're gonna do 8 more of those. So now onto squats. I'm doing sumo squats with one heel elevated. So feet are wider than shoulder width apart, toes pointed out slightly at about a 45-degree angle. Lift one heel, sink into your squat, and then as you stand, transfer the weight towards one leg, lift the other leg. Put the heel down. Other side. Lift the heel, squat, lift the leg. That's 2. We're going to 40, 40. So do your best. Lift the heel, squat, and lift the leg. Other side. Lift the heel, squat, lift the leg. That's 4. That's 10. I feel like I'm on the wrong side. All right, I'm gonna regroup. I'm gonna do 40 or 30 more, but I'm gonna focus and make sure I'm staying on the right side. Okay, so another 30. That's 20, halfway done. If you need to pause and rest, pause and rest. Just do your best. I'm gonna keep going. So I'm picking up my count at 20. That's 21, 22, 23, 24, I think that was 31. I'm pretty sure that was 40. I'm not gonna worry too much about it because I'm gonna do those extra reps at the end. So I know either way, I will have completed minimum 40 reps, and I think that was 40. So before we move on to lunges, another set of 10 push-ups as soon as you're ready. All right, 360 lunges. So, step in paint. All right, there's paint on the bottom of your shoes. With each lunge, you're gonna make a dot on the ground and you're gonna make circles, okay? 5 circles. Just do what I do, we got this. All right, so I'm gonna start with this as my standing leg, This is my lunging leg. So I'm going to lunge forward and now to the side. Now switch legs for the dragon lunge. Switch legs again, reverse lunge on the other leg, switch legs for another dragon lunge. Now side lunge and forward lunge. That's our first circle. That was 8 lunges. So we have to do 4 more circles, okay? So forward lunge, side lunge. Now curtsy lunge or dragon lunge, reverse lunge, dragon lunge to the other side, side lunge, and forward lunge. That's 2 sets. So that's 16 lunges. 3 more circles, all right? That's 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. Okay? So squats are done, lunges are done, push-ups are halfway done. So before we move on to abs, another set of 10 push-ups when you're ready. Good job, it's a tough push-up variation. We've completed 30 push-ups, just 10 more to go. But first, abs. So come down on the mat, elbow plank, drop the hip to the other side. Alternating sides with each rep. That's 4, we're going to 40, do your best. It's 30, keep fighting for it. That's 40. Abs are done, man. All right. Just past the 10-minute mark. Let's quickly go ahead and finish up with this final set of 10 push-ups. more. Get up. It was a really tough push-up variation. So I know it's tempting to just kind of collapse. On your mat after you complete that final wrap. But it's important to get up, keep moving. Keep the circulation going while you allow your breathing to normalize and while you let your heart rate come down a little bit. So as I mentioned before the workout, I'm going to do an extra 10 reps of everything today. It's just a tradition, dates back to year 1 of the challenge. I'm not going to get into the reason why today, but I'll get into it at some point next week. This is completely optional. You do not have to do the extra reps if you don't want to. But if you do want to, let's do them now. So I'm just going to do an extra 10 squats if you want to. You don't have to. Now for my lunges, I'm not going to do 360 lunges because it's not going to work out where I'm able to do 10 reps in a nice tidy little fashion. So I'm just going to do dragon lunges. If you're doing the extra reps with me, it can be 10 reps of any lunge variation you want. I'm going to do dragon lunges. Everyone else calls them curtsy lunges. So 10 reps, alternating sides with each rep. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other than the lunges, I'm doing the same versions of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups for my bonus that we did during the workout, but you don't have to. If you're doing the little bonus, you can choose different variations, it doesn't matter. So I'm just gonna do a quick 10 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then just 10 more push-ups. All right, so if you did those extra 40 reps with me today, thank you. Especially if you don't know why we did it, and you just did them in solidarity with me. I appreciate you. So now let's just do a quick little cool down. I don't really do very much of a structured cool down, but I'll walk you through what I do. Basically, it's fine to just pace around, okay? Swing out the arms, shake out the legs. Like I said, really the point is just that you want to kind of keep your circulation going. You don't want to be stagnant. You want to keep moving while you allow your heart rate to come back down and while you allow your breathing to normalize, okay? So usually after all those push-ups, especially if you did the extra reps with me today, it's not a bad idea to stretch the shoulders a little bit. So just bring one arm across your body and use your other arm to pull it in towards your chest. Make sure that the straight arm is completely relaxed, and make sure your shoulder is completely relaxed. If there's tension in your shoulder, then you're not getting the benefit of the stretch. So make sure you relax your arm, relax your shoulder, so that you can really feel that stretch as you pull your arm in towards your chest. Shake it out. Let's do the other shoulder. So bringing the other arm across your body, making sure that arm that's being stretched is nice and relaxed, making sure your shoulder is nice and relaxed as you use your other arm to pull the straight arm in to your chest. Feel that stretch in your shoulder. And the whole time I'm just kind of shifting my weight back and forth. You can be pacing, shake out the legs. Again, you just want to keep moving. Okay, shake it out. And do a quick tricep stretch. So bending the elbow and then using your hand to gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Feel that stretch in your triceps, and while you do that, make sure that your free hand, this hand, is relaxed and pointing straight down towards the ground. You don't want it up here by your shoulder. It should be just pointing straight down towards the ground. Shake it out. And we'll get the other side. So bend your elbow and use the other hand to gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Feeling that stretch in your triceps, making sure that your free hand is completely relaxed, pointing straight down towards the ground. Shake it out. And we'll do a quick quad stretch. So you may need to hold on to something for balance. So you can grab your strong, sturdy, stable chair, or even just the wall. You're gonna pick up one foot, bring the foot behind you, and then reach back and grab onto your foot with both hands. Grab onto the top of your foot and gently press your heel into your booty cheek. And while you do that, make sure that you are tilting your pelvis forward. So it's like you're tucking your booty underneath you and sucking your belly button back towards your spine. So switch legs. I'll show you what I mean from the side. Pick up the opposite foot, bring it behind you. Reach back, grab onto the top of your foot with both hands and gently press the heel into your booty cheek. And while you do that, you're tilting your pelvis this way. Tilting your pelvis forward. So it's like you're tucking your booty underneath you and you're sucking your belly button in. Like you're trying to touch your spine with your belly button. So if you do this while still pressing that heel into your booty cheek, you're instantly going to feel that stretch intensify in your quad. It makes the stretch much more effective. So that's it. That's our little cool down, okay? Swing the arms a little, make sure those shoulders are nice and loose. Shake out the hands, shake out the arms, shake out the legs. If you feel that your heart rate is not normalized yet and you're still breathing kind of heavy and you need a couple more minutes to cool down, then just keep pacing around, keep moving. You can do a little more light stretching. And when you feel that you are nice and cool and your breathing has normalized again and your heart rate is back to normal, then come back and we'll do our bonus burpee together. No workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go. If you are a beginner, that does not excuse you from having to do your bonus burpee. The bonus burpee is mandatory. Now you don't have to do a push-up with your bonus burpee, but you have to do a burpee. Okay, so I'm going to include a push-up. You can omit the push-up if you prefer. There are a million different burpee variations. So any burpee variation you want to do is fine, with or without a push-up, but the bonus burpee itself is mandatory. Okay, so let me walk you through how to do a beginner bonus burpee. You are going to start by standing in the middle of your mat. You're going to bend down and place your hands on the mat in front of you, and then you're going to step your feet back so that you're in a plank position. Knees down for a push-up if you are including a push-up. If not, you can eliminate it. Step the feet forward. Come up onto your toes if you can, and if you want, you can even add a little jump. If you are not a beginner and you would like to try to do the push-up from your toes, let's go ahead and just do one final bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. All right, with that, the workout is now officially complete, and that ended up taking me a total of 10 minutes and 57 seconds. And you'll notice that before my final set of push-ups, I grabbed my timer and put it down here where I could see it. The reason I did that is because I really wanted to try to finish in under 11 minutes. So having the timer in front of me really helps me to push myself. I did my first 6 reps and then I took a quick rest break, but I really wanted to push myself to finish before my timer said 11 minutes. And if I hadn't been able to see the seconds ticking away and see how much time I had left, I probably would have rested longer and I wouldn't have finished in under 11 minutes. So it doesn't really matter how long it took you to do the reps. The important thing is just that you did the reps. So the important thing is that I got the reps done. But I do like setting a time goal. I didn't set a time goal today, but when we got to the final set of push-ups and we had just crossed the 10-minute mark, I made it my goal to finish my final set of push-ups before we hit the 11-minute mark. So being able to see the seconds ticking away, it really just pushed me to keep going and to keep my rest break as short as I could. I would have liked to rest longer because I was fatigued, but I was able to push myself and finish those final 4 reps. So that's why I do like to set a time goal, and that's why I like to tell you to push yourself and challenge yourself to keep your rest breaks as short as you can. Because when you get fatigued, it's easy to take a longer rest break than you really need. So again, it's kind of a balancing act and you do need to listen to your body, but I just wanted to share that with you. That's why I brought the timer down here and I was able to complete my final rep of push-ups before the 11-minute mark. So I'm very happy about that. So if you don't like to time yourself, you don't have to. I always time myself because I find it helpful. I like to see how long the workout took me today. So then the next time I do this same workout, I have a very clear goal in mind. I have a very realistic time goal that I want to try to beat because I always want to try to do it a little bit faster than I did at the time before without sacrificing my form, of course. And when I keep track of my scores in that way and I can compare my scores from the same workout, I can see myself getting faster and getting stronger, and it's really encouraging. So not everybody's the same. For me, I find this really helpful to time my workouts and to always push myself to try to do it faster the next time, but it's not helpful for everyone. But if you're not accustomed to timing your workouts, you might want to try it and just see if it's helpful for you. If it's not helpful, don't do it. But try it, and then if you find that it kind of helps motivate you to be a little faster next time, and if it encourages you to see your improvements each time you do the workout to see that you were able to improve on your score from last time, then it can be a really useful tool. So that's why I time the workouts, and my official score for today is 10 minutes and 57 seconds. So now it's really important that you're taking a good 15 or 20 minutes at least to stretch. If you can do it right now, immediately after the workout, this is going to be the most efficient and the most effective time to get your stretching done because your muscles are already nice and warm. If you do not have time to do your stretching right now, that's fine. You can do it later on in the day. Just remember that if you wait until later in the day to do your stretching, that your muscles will have gotten cold again. So you're going to have to take a few minutes to warm them back up before you begin your stretching routine. The same way we warm up before the workout, it's also really important to make sure that your muscles are warm before you begin stretching because warm muscles are more pliable. So if you jump into the stretching routine with cold muscles, you are increasing your risk of injury. You're increasing the risk that you might overstretch or strain something or pull a muscle. We don't want that. Okay, so make sure that your muscles are warm before you begin stretching. So if you do your stretching now, you don't have to warm your muscles up because they're already nice and warm from the workout. If you do your stretching later, just remember to warm your muscles back up before you begin stretching. It doesn't matter when you get your stretching done as long as you do it, okay? It's really important that you're not skipping your stretching because taking the time to stretch every day is going to help alleviate muscle soreness. It's also going to help you to reduce your risk of injury moving forward, and it's going to increase your flexibility and your mobility, which is important in and of itself. So make sure you're taking the time to stretch every single day. If you want the stretching routine that I do every day, just ask. I'm happy to share that link with you, but it doesn't matter what you do for your stretching as long as you get it done. Before I do my stretching, I'm going to be adding on 20 minutes of moderate paced cardio with my jump rope. That is why I'm holding Victoria. Victoria is my beautiful silver jump rope with the pretty light pink metallic handles. And if you are wondering where I got Victoria, there is a link and a coupon code in the description box down below the video. So click on the link, use coupon code RUDEBECCA to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. But I'm going to reset my timer for 40 rounds of 10-second rest intervals and 20-second work intervals. That's 20 minutes. I'm going to get some music going and then just get my cardio done, 20 minutes. Then I'll do my stretching, have a shower, eat some lunch, and get on with the rest of my very busy day. So any kind of moderate paced cardio you want to do is fine, and you don't have to add on the cardio if you don't want to. I am sharing this with you because every year when I do this challenge, this is how I do the challenge, and I want to be upfront about that. I want to be transparent about the fact that I'm not just doing these 160 reps every day. I am relying solely on these 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups every day, or today 50 squats, 50 lunges, 50 reps of abs, and 50 push-ups. I'm relying solely on these 160 reps every day for my strength training, but I'm also adding cardio, 20 to 30 minutes or more of moderate paced cardio after every single workout. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm trying to use this challenge to get myself in shape. I need to lose weight. I need to improve my stamina, and I want to improve my cardiovascular health. I want to strengthen my heart and my lungs. So the additional cardio really goes a long way towards helping me to accelerate that process. It also enables me to start seeing results faster, which is really encouraging. And the more encouraged I feel, the easier it is to motivate myself to keep going because I can see the changes in my body. I can feel myself getting stronger. I can feel my stamina improving. I can see the weight coming off. And it's really encouraging when you can see the results of all your hard work. And you know that what you're doing is working, so it makes it easier to find the motivation to get out here and keep doing it every single day. And the stronger I get and the more my stamina improves, the easier the workouts become. So just knowing that the workout is going to be a little bit easier today than it was yesterday, that also helps with motivation. It makes it a lot easier to get dressed and get my little booty out here and get the reps done. So the additional cardio is not required. It is not part of the challenge. But if you are also looking to use this challenge to get yourself in shape, if you're trying to lose weight, the additional cardio is strongly recommended because, again, it's just going to help you to accelerate that process. It's going to help you start to see results faster, and I know that you're going to be so much happier with your results at the end of the challenge. So it doesn't have to be jump rope. It can be any kind of moderate paced cardio you want. You can go for a jog or just a brisk walk or a bike ride if you have a bike. If you have a treadmill or an exercise bike or an elliptical or something like that, you can hop on one of those for 30 minutes or so, more if you want. If you have access to a heavy bag, you could work on your heavy bag. If you live close to water or if you own a pool or have access to a pool, you could go swimming. If you have access to the field at your local high school, you could jog around the track, you could do up and down the bleachers. Any kind of moderate paced cardio you want to do is fine. If you live close to hiking trails, you could take a nice long hike. That's probably going to be longer than 20 or 30 minutes, but if you have the time, that's a great option. Or if there's an activity you enjoy, you can meet up with a friend and play some basketball or play a couple sets of tennis, okay? So the additional cardio is not required. I'm just recommending that you try to squeeze in a couple of cardio sessions at least. I do the cardio after every single workout, but we're working out 6 days a week. So that's 6 cardio sessions a week. And I know that's a lot. You may not physically be able to do 6 cardio sessions a week, or you just might not have the time. But I strongly encourage you to just see if you can find time to squeeze in 2 or 3 cardio sessions a week. If you can, and if you want to. I just know you're going to be a lot happier with your results at the end of the challenge. It's going to help you start meeting your goals faster. You're going to start seeing changes to your body happen faster. Your stamina is going to improve. The workouts are going to become easier. It's going to be easier to continue to motivate yourself to keep getting out here and getting the reps done. So 2 to 3 cardio sessions a week, if you can manage it, is strongly recommended. It can be any kind of moderate paced cardio you want. It doesn't have to be longer than 20 or 30 minutes. It can be longer if you want and if you have the time. So just think about it. But I wanted to share that with you because it's how I do the challenge. So once more, the additional cardio is not required. It is not mandatory. It is not technically, officially part of the challenge, but it is strongly recommended. But whether or not you are adding on cardio today, our 161 reps are complete. We have done our 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, 40 push-ups, and 1 bonus burpee. And if you did the extra reps with me, then we did 50 squats, 50 reps of lunges, 50 reps of abs, 50 push-ups, and 1 bonus burpee. So that means we did a total of 201 reps today. So that is officially a wrap on day 34. Well done. And you guys, that is a wrap on our 5th full week of the challenge, which means that we have only 1 week left to go, just 6 more workouts, which is amazing. So well done if you are doing the challenge with me. This is the most people I've ever had join me for the challenge, and you guys are all doing a phenomenal job. If you did this workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately, and even if you're not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It really does mean the world to me. Thank you to everyone who is doing the challenge with me. If you're not doing the challenge, please remember that it is not too late to join. It is never too late to join. If you just want to jump in for the final week of the challenge, that is amazing. Of course, if you want to go back to the beginning and start on day 1 of the challenge, that's even more amazing and recommended. So make sure you save the playlist. Start by watching that day 1 video, and then when you're ready to start the challenge, just make sure you start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday. Any random Wednesday will work, as long as you start with day 1 on a Wednesday. Then all you have to do is follow along with the playlist and everything will fall into place. I have made it super easy to follow along, but of course, if you have any questions about the challenge itself and how it works, why we're doing it, who is Brutus, if you have questions about how you can participate or where to begin, just remember that I am right here doing the challenge right along with you. I'm here working out with you every single day, but I am also here to help. I am here to answer questions and provide guidance. I am here to motivate you and support you and encourage you throughout this entire challenge. So do not hesitate to reach out if you have questions, or if you need any help. I also need to say thank you to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if anything is unclear with the format of today's workout, I know the lunges were a little tricky, so if you have questions about that, if you have questions about the exercises that we were doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with beginner modifications beyond what I have already provided, please remember that I am right here to help. So please just ask. That is going to do it for week 6 of the challenge. All right, tomorrow is Sunday, so tomorrow we rest. Remember, it's 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups a day, every single day except Sundays. So Sundays are our rest days during this challenge, and tomorrow is our final rest day of the entire challenge. So what to do on your rest day? Well, first of all, you can do absolutely nothing, and that is fine. You've earned it. We did 6 tough workouts this week. So if you want to do absolutely nothing tomorrow, that's fine. There are no obligations for tomorrow, okay? So you definitely don't have to do a single squat, lunge, ab, or push-up. But if you want to move a little, that is recommended. I think it's a good idea to either sneak in a cardio session or even just take a nice long walk. Maybe it could be as simple as just taking the dog for an extra long walk tomorrow, okay? Or just taking a nice stroll around the neighborhood yourself, or doing something that you enjoy, an activity that you enjoy, like a hike, or again, playing a couple sets of tennis or playing some basketball with a friend at the park. I am pretty much always exhausted on Sundays, so for my rest days, I always just like to do an extra long stretching routine, so that's another option. A yoga class might be great, or again, like a swim, a cardio session, something like that. So you don't have to do anything, but I think it's a good idea to move a little bit. First of all, because again, if you're experiencing any muscle soreness, then just moving a little is going to be the best thing for that. And it's also just a really good idea to do something active because it reinforces that idea of daily exercise. And that's a big part of the reason why we're doing this challenge, is to help establish that routine, that habit of daily exercise. So some kind of movement is really going to help your brain to just kind of reinforce that habit of doing something every day. And it doesn't have to be more than, like I said, just an extra long stretching routine is what I do. But a walk, a hike, a swim, okay, or just a fun activity that you enjoy. So something to think about. So tomorrow is a rest day, but I'm going to make it kind of an active rest day, and I encourage you to do the same, but you can do whatever you want on your rest day, okay? So that is going to do it for today. Enjoy your rest day tomorrow, and I will see you all right back here on Monday for day 35. Bye.